It's the last chance saloon for some of the clubs and the Europa League as they enter the second qualifying campaign. Will they tumble out right now, or will they look forward to a meaty crunch clash out in round 3? We'll talk about that and much more next. Today we take a look at the second qualifying campaign out in the Europa League, and we'll get to that in just 1 second. If you're new to the channel, smash the old subscribe button to get you bang up to date with all things Europa League related, Blackburn Rovers related, world football related, of course. We've got it all here, boys and girls, under one roof. This is part 2, of course. Part 1 was a little bit earlier. Now this is, of course, we're going to wrap it all up in a ticky bow with the rest of the matches that you missed. And again, if you missed the first one, I want a big shout out. Cha-ching, cha-ching. We have 2 new patrons. Respect to them, of course. Constable 1976 is back in the gang. He was a patron way back when, but he is back. And of course, Omar Esquivel is now a patron as well. So respect to both of those guys to make it sweet 18. Much love to all those guys. Do appreciate the support that they offer for the channel. And again, if you want to join that illustrious VIP gang of 18, there is a link down below to make it. Come on, let's round it up to a nice clean 20. That'll be an absolute tremendous achievement. That was a goal for me earlier in the calendar to try and get 20 before the end of the season, before the end of the calendar year. And we are oh so close, boys, and oh so close. I might even have to move the goalposts a little bit. Very respect to all of those guys. It does help with the channel. It does kick us forward. And my main goal is, of course, to improve the quality of the content. And again, I have got a big bag of bones over on this side of the camera. I've got a bit of duct tape here, a bit of this, bit of there. I don't have one of those fancy setups that everyone does. I've got sticky tape, this, staples here. It's all behind there. It's all behind. Anyway, enough jibber jabber. Let's jump in the deep end and have a little look, shall we? And of course, what we got on in, of course, the second batch of games with our Prele Karuni. So let's jump in the deep end, of course. Riteriai. They took on Derry City and they won 3-2 winners in the end. Actually, remember the 2-1 win myself. Not too bad. Progress Niederhorn. They took care of business against Zeta 3-0. Actually, remember the 2-0 win myself on that one. Ventus Spills took care of Dynamo Otto Tiraspol. 2-1 win as well. Actually, remember the 2-0 win on that one myself. Not too bad. Orabasai took on Botasani and they lost 2-1 win, going in favour of Botasani over Orabasai. I got that one wrong. If you have already watched the first video on this one, you already realise some of these teams have already been. We've already talked about them, so you're going to have to watch both of them. But there's just too many to squeeze into one video. Kariet, they beat Noah 4-1 win in the end. Actually, went with a 3-0 win myself on that one. Nobuju Kalju in the late game lost to NS Mura 4-0. Got the right amount of goals on this one, but I actually went the other way, so I got that one wrong. Tatua, they lost. They actually beat Jerusalem 2-0 in the end, 2-1 for me. Got that one wrong. Borek Banjaluka, they beat Shintancha Nisicic 1-0 in the end, actually with a 2-0 win myself. And Dynamo Minsk lost to Bialist Gluichi. Bang on the nose, boys. I got this one bang on the nose. 2-0 win in the end. NK Maribor, they lost to Cold Rain 1-1 in the end. Penalties was a deciding factor. Cold Rain going through on that bad boy. Congratulations to them, bad boys. That's a major upset right there. So what we got there? We got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 so far. Let's count on the rest. Zalgiris, they beat Pierred Limited 2-0 win. Actually, one with a 1-0 win myself. Malmo did beat KS Craiova. Got that one wrong. I got a bit of abuse on that one as well. One with a 2-0 win. 2-0 win for Malmo was the real score. 2-1 the other way for me. So I got that one wrong. Vaduz, they lost to Hibernians 2-0. Actually went 2-1 the other way. Got that one wrong. Honved, they beat Inter Turku 2-1 win. Actually went with a 3-1 win myself. So that's another 2. Partizan DBRFS 1-0. Actually 3-1 win for myself. Lincoln Red Imps, they beat Union Titus Patanj. Actually went with a 1-0 win, going in favour of the opposition. So I went wrong. And Gheorghe, they lost to APOEL Nikosia 2-0 in the end. So I got 4 there, plus, what was it on the other one? 4, 6, 8, 10. I got 10. Why does that matter? Well, I want to know where I am. I'm just squeezing the middle one there, so I don't get in the top face gang today. But if you get 0 to 4, you're in the shit face gang. 5 to 10, you're in the straight face club. 11 plus, you're in the top. And there's a few of you guys out there, but there's not that many as there was in the first one. So let's get into it. Costas K, you did top banana. Fair play to you, son. Fair play. Gaming Charlie with an edit, not too shabby. Hans Vorst, he also did very well. Oliver Queen 777 did okay. Devante Caprice, not too shabby. Ilmicher did also. Issa, not too bad. Slaving Selt, not too bad. Victor Carvalho, not too bad. Screenshot got me. He did okay. Matt Gunner did not bad as well. Bossio Mata with an edit. No edit. Fair play, sir. Fair play. Yannick Bustler did also top banana as well. Well done to you. Get in there, my son. And also Keaton Zamurli, not too shabby. And Meister Fighter did very well. Fair play. I thought there was a red-faced gang in there, but there isn't. So we all did very well. All got a bit of yellow facedness and all that kind of jazz. But anyway, let's jump into the deep end, of course, now and take a look at the next batch of games here, folks. The next batch of games. We're going to start with Sfîntul taking on Partizan. Now, of course, Partizan coming out of Serbia, taking on Stevie, who've coming out of Romania, I believe. Let's take a closer look at these two teams. Of course, Stevie finishing... sorry, they come out of Moldova. They actually finished second out in their respective division, whereas FK Partizan actually finished second in the Serbian Super League, managed by Alexander Stančiković. Again, I'm not going to plow through the details of these ones because I don't know too much about the teams or about the histories and things like that. So we're just going to be brutal and honest. I'm going to be brutal and honest. I'm going to go with the Partizan victory on this one. 1-0 winners away from home. Next up, we have Lokomotiv Tbilisi coming out of Georgia, taking on Dinamo Moscow coming out of Russia, of course, Eastern Bloc countries, these bad boys. Dynamo Moscow, managed by Kirill Novikov, actually finished 6th out in the Russian Premier League last time around, whereas the host, the Lokomotiv Tbilisi, finishing 4th in the Georgian League, managed by Untitled Chapter, but managed by Levan Kolgzadze. Of course he is. This was a tough one to call. You could go either way on this one, but I'm going to go with a 3-1 win for Dynamo Moscow. I do believe the Russians are more powerful, football-wise, and I do believe that they will have the edge over their Eastern European brothers, of course. Next up, CSK Sofia taking on BAT Borisov. Another difficult one, this bad boy. Of course, BAT Borisov coming out of Belarus. CSK Sofia coming out of Bulgaria. BAT Borisov finishing 2nd out in the Belarusian Premier League last time around. Managed by Kirill Ashelevsky. Meanwhile, CSK Sofia finishing 2nd out in the top division out in, where is it? Bulgaria, of course. Managed by Stefan Belchev. Very difficult one, this one. It could go either way. BAT Borisov are familiar names out in the Europa League stages. CSKA Sofia also very familiar, but I'm going to go with the home team on this one. I just fancy them just to nick it in the end. And again, we look forward to see them in the next stages. That is my pickaroonie. Next up, we have KF Lachi. Taking on Hapoel Beersheva out of Israel. Lachi coming out of Albania, finishing out. Where did they finish out in there, respectively? They actually finished 3rd out in the Superliga out in Albania, managed by Armando Kungu. Taking on Hapoel Beersheva coming out of Israel, of course, finishing 4th last time around, managed by Yussi Akabarius. Going to go with the Israelis on this one with the 1-0 win away from home to get themselves a nice, comfortable tie into the next stage. We do already know who they'll be likely to play as well, but we're not going to talk about that. We'll save that for another day. OFI Crete. Crete coming out of Greece, taking on APOEL Limassol. It's a Mediterranean crunch clash, this bad boy. Let's take a closer look at these. APOEL Limassol, managed by Softius Revagovtis, finishing 4th out in Cyprus, whereas OFI Crete, they actually finished out in 6th out in the Super League out of Greece. Georgios Simononis is the manager out there at the moment. And I'm going to go with the Greek side on this one with a 2-1 win myself. Again, not going to elaborate too much on this one. Next up, we have Hibernians. Not Hibernian, but Hibernians coming out of Malta, taking on Fehérvár. Hibernians, of course, finishing out in Malta, finishing in 2nd out of the Maltese League, managed by Stefano Sandrera, whereas Fehérvár actually coming out in 2nd, also out in the Hungarian League as well, managed by Gabriel Murton. Again, you don't really expect too much from the Maltese teams, especially at this level. And against an opposition such as a Hungarian team, I do expect them to get a bit of a spanking myself. I'm going to go with a 3-0 win myself for Fehérvár on this one. Next time we have Riga. They're going to be taking on SP Tre Fiori. Have been in this knockout stages for a while now. And they're still in it, believe it or not. But this is probably definitely their last chance saloon for these bad boys. Riga coming out of Latvia, I believe, taking on Tre Fiori coming out of San Marino. Of course, Tre Fiori have been, they've been having the old preliminaries and all this kind of jazz. Finishing 1st out in San Marino. This is in the Champions Path, of course, whereas the Riga have also finished top of the pops out in Latvia, in a 9-team division out in Latvia, and they are champions. They just should comfortably go through this one. I've got given it just the 1-0 win, just because I'm not too sure how good Riga are, but I'm pretty sure they're good enough to beat the Butchers, the Bakers, the Candlestick Makers from San Marino. Next up, we have, of course, Inter Club del Escalades. They're coming out of Andorra, taking on Dundalk, coming out of Ireland. And again, this coming in the Champions Path on this one. Dundalk, managed by Filippo Ghiavanelli, finishing top of the pops out in Ireland. Taking on Inter Club de Escalada to finish top of the pops out in Andorra, managed by Alfano Baines. Again, I'm going to go with the Dundalk on this one. I think they're a decent side these days, and I think they should be. They've got the chances to make it to the group stages, possibly, and the Europa League on this one. So I'm going to go with Dundalk with away days. But then Bad Boys, next up, they're another Irish team. They've got a bit of the Hollywood tie, really, up against AC Milan. Again, these games taking place majority on the 17th of September. A couple of them taking place on the 16th. Of course, Shamrock Rovers coming out of Ireland, finishing second out in the Irish League, managed by Stephen Brayley. Taking on AC Milan, currently managed by Stefano Pioli, finishing sixth out in Serie A, of course, with Zlatan and co. Zlatan AC Milanovic on this bad boy. Again, it's a Hollywood tie for Shamrock Rovers. They should just wrap it up. Unfortunately, there's going to be no fans to watch this bad boy, so it's a shame for them. But they should get battered as well. 4-1 win, going for AC Milan on this one. Next up, another one. FK Kuopion up against Wolfsburg, coming out of the Bundesliga at long last. Kuopion out of Albania will be the hosts on this one. Of course, Wolfsburg, the away team. Kuopion finishing second out in the respective league out in Albania, managed by Shkenga Genga. Genga. We now VFC Wolfsburg, matched by Oliver Glasner, finishing 7th out in the Bundesliga this time around. Looking to do a little bit better next time around. But I do expect Wolfsburg also, just like AC Milan, to put a better performance for the watching faithful at home. 4-0 winners away from home. Next up, Pleczkowicki coming out of Poland, taking on TSV Hartberg. Now these bad boys, Hartberg, I think they're Austrian, if I'm right. Hartberg entering the Europa League stage at this point, finishing 5th last time around, managed by Markus Schropp. They are the away team, of course, taking on Pleczkowicki coming out of Poland, finishing 3rd last time around in the respective league, managed by Waldemar Formanek. Tough one, this one. It could go either way. Two respectable, decent sort of clubs that you probably didn't really want to face each other, but they've got them at the tyre at this stage, and one of them's going to go tumble out. It's going to be close, but over the Austrians here with a 3-1 win away from home. That's right. Next up, Aris coming out of Greece, I believe, taking on Kolos Kalioka coming out of Ukraine. Again, taking place on the 17th of September. Kolos Kalioka, managed by Ruslan Krostovian, finishing 6th out in the Ukrainian League, taking on Aris, finishing 5th out in the Super League, managed by Michael Owning. That name does ring a bell, and if it does, well, does it? He's actually formerly manager of Nürnberg and also Hamburger SV, amongst others. He is of German. Coesfeld, used to live down there. Bloody hell, this guy gets around a bit. Yeah, I used to live near Coesfeld. Lived in a place called Dortmund out in Germany for a couple of years. But I do expect Arias to get the edge on this one with the 3-2 wins over the Ukrainians to get themselves through to the next round. Next up, another juggernaut at this stage. It is Standard Liège coming into the mix here, coming out of Belgium, taking on Ballatown, coming out of Wales. Of course, Standard Liège will be the favourites, red hot favourites for this bad boy, finishing 5th out in the Belgian league this time last time around. Philippe Montaigne is the manager, with Ballatown actually finishing 3rd out in the Cymru Premier, which is the top league out in Wales. Colin Canton is the manager, but this is where their story ends. They're going to get battered. 4-0 win in the end for Standard Liège. No questions, no dramas on that one. Next up, the other Welsh team, Connors Quay Nomads. I've been told off how to pronounce that before, and I probably butchered it again. Taking on Dinamo Tbilisi out of Georgia. This one's a good one. This was an interesting one. Andy Morrison, ex-Rover, of course, managing them these days, finishing top of the pops out in the Cymru Premier. Taking on Dinamo Tbilisi, managed by Kariaka Centelani, finishing top of the pops out in Georgia. I really want the Connor Quays Nomads to go through because of the Rovers link, but I think they're going to get battered. 4-1 win by Dinamo Tbilisi. It might be a bit advantageous. A little bit too lopsided there, but unfortunately, I think that's where the story ends. Next up, we have Banja Luka taking on Rio Ave coming out of Portugal. These bad boys should be an interesting one. Of course, Banja Luka coming out of Bosnia. Again, taking place on the 17th. Banja Luka actually managed by Vlado Jagadijovic, finishing 4th out in the Premier League out in Bosnia last time around. Meanwhile, Rio Ave finishing 5th out in the Portuguese Premier League last time around, managed by Mario Silva. That's right. We all know Mario Silva, formerly manager of Boa Vista, of course, and he used to play for Boa Vista back in the day, and also Porto. He was a left back way back when, just 43 years old, just off the top of my head. I do expect them to be 3-1 winners in the end. Away days as well. Away day victory for Rio Ave. Next up, we have FK Silic taking on FC Drita. This is also in the Champions Path, taking place on the 17th of September. Silic coming out of North Macedonia, finishing top of finishing actually 2nd out in the Macedonian League, whereas FC Drita finishing as champions out in the Kosovonian League. Tough one this one, of course. Kosovo, for me, I always see them as a rising Eastern Bloc country, and in the football world, I do expect them to have a little bit of a say in this one, but I do expect Silic to have the edge this time around. So it's not the year for Drita. They're going to be going out. Silic go through. Next up, Dunska Streda taking on Jablonec. Dunska Streda, where they come in. Where do they come out of? I'll tell you now. I'll tell you where they come out of. Dunska Streda coming out of Slovakia. Meanwhile, of Jablonec coming out of the Czech Republic, of course. Now, these two sides will be lock-ons on the 17th as well. Bernd Stock is your manager for Dunska Streda, who are finishing third in the respective league out in Slovakia. Meanwhile, Jablonec actually finishing fourth and the Czech First League, managed by Peter Reda as well. Going to go with Jablonec on this one. The Czechs should have more in the tank than them two. And another away day victory on the books. Next up, Coleraine coming out of Northern Ireland, taking on Motherwell, of course, coming out of the Scottish Premiership as well. This was a fruity little bad boy, isn't it? Isn't it, boys and girls? Let's take a closer look at this. Coleraine actually managed these days by Orion Kearney, finishing second out in the Northern Ireland Irish League last time around. Meanwhile, Motherwell finishing third, managed by Stephen Robinson these days. And again, they had a slow start out in Scotland, but they're bouncing back at the moment. And I do expect them to bounce back quite comfortably against Coleraine. Might not be this lopsided, but I'm going to go adventurous with a 5-0 win in the end. Next up, we have Viking. This one's going to be tight up against Aberdeen. Again, coming out of Scotland, now Viking coming out of Norway on this bad boy. Viking finishing in 5th in the respective division out of 16, out of Stavanger. Out of the top flight out in Norway, taking on Aberdeen, who finished in 4th last time around in the Scottish Premiership, still managed by Derek McInnes as well. Of course, there's a bit of COVID issues at the start of the season, but they seem to be back in tip-top health as well. And I think they're just going to lose on this one, going to give it to Viking, 2-1 winners in the end. And into this is the final one. NK Osteric taking on FC Basel. Of course, Osteric coming out of Croatia, I believe. Basel coming out of Switzerland, who were in the Champions League at the last stages. No, they did very, very well. They made it to the late knockout stages of the Europa League last round. Anyway, Osteric finishing 4th out in the Croatian League, whereas Basel actually finished in a 3rd spot out in the Swiss Super League. I do fancy them to be quite comfortably victors in the end with a 4-1 win in the end. No, we have more. We have pissing more. I thought that was it. It's a never-ending knockout stage, this stage. Serviette taking on, out of Switzerland, taking on Reims out of France, of course, a juggernaut these days. Reims managed by David Guon, finishing 6th last time around out in France. Meanwhile, Serviette out of Switzerland, of course, they were in the knockout stages last time around, finishing 4th in the Swiss Super League last time around, managed by Alan Geiger. This is going to be tight on this one. We're going to give it to the Frenchies on this one with a 2-0 win away from home. Next up, we have Linfield, again, coming out of Northern Ireland, taking on Floriana, coming out of Malta. This is in the Champions Path as well. Linfield managed by David Healy, of course, ex-Preston North End man, finishing top of the pops out in Northern Ireland last time around. Floriana also finishing top of the pops out in Maltese League, managed by Vincenzo Pontevengra. I'm going to give it to Linfield on this one with a 2-1 win in the end. Home advantage and all that kind of stuff. Yeah, get a fair play to them. Fair play at this stage, and they'll get through to the knockout stages on this bad boy. Next up we have, who do we have on this one? We have Baka Topola taking on Stoia Bucharest. Is that what they call them these days, Stoia Bucharest? Or Stoia Bucharest, actually managed by Anton Pentrera, finishing 5th out in the Romanian Professional League last time around. Taking on Baka Topolo, finishing 4th, and the Serbian Super League last time around, managed by Zoltan Zarzbo. I do expect Stoia Bucharest to comfortably come through. 3-0 winners in the end on this bad boy. Speaking of Bucharest, next up we have Budapest. Budapest Honvéd taking on Malmo, coming out of Sweden, of course, again taking place on the 17th of September. Honvéd coming out of Hungary, will be managed by, unless something changes, Thomas Bulldog, finishing 5th on the respective league last time around, whereas Malmo actually finished 2nd and the Swedish top flight as well, managed by John Dahl Thomason, ex-Newcastle player, of course, Swedish superstar. 2-1 winners for the Swedes on this one. Next up, Djurgårdens, again another Swedish team taking on Europa, coming out of Gibraltar. This should be a one-sided affair if I ever saw one. Djurgårdens, managed by these days Lars Erik Solberg. Actually, that's the chairman. Of course, Duisburg's managed these days by dual coaches, Kim Bergstrand and Thomas Lagerlof, finishing 1st out in Sweden last time around. They'll fancy the chances up against Europa, actually managed by Rafa Escobar, finished top of the pops out in Gibraltar. But really, it's going to be a one-sided affair. Could be more than this, could be 6, could be 7. You know, it's just don't know. I want to play it safe with a 2-0 win for Djurgårdens in the end. And then we have a really crunch clash at the end here. Top of the pops, big boy crunch clash out in Scandinavia. It will be Copenhagen. They're actually going to go away days to Gothenburg. That's right, out of Sweden. Of course, Copenhagen coming out of Denmark. This one's got the makings of a classic already. Copenhagen it did so well last time, getting knocked out, and eventually in the last year's competition by Manchester United, managed by Stahl Solbach, and they looked good against United. And they were a little bit unlucky not to make it through to the next stage. Meanwhile, their opposition, without a manager at the moment, AFK Gothenburg, so they're looking to get a manager. Maybe there'll be one in charge in place for this one, but it could also be a little bit chaotic for them. So realistically, that also plays into my advantage. Going to go with the 3-1 win for Copenhagen in the end, boys and girls. In the end on this bad boy, again, this is part 2. Of course, be sure to check out part 1. Your club may be in there. It might not be in there. But anyway, just get yourself stuck in there with your Predicaroonies, of course, on this bad boy. That, my friends, is all I've got for you. Hopefully you enjoyed the video. If you did, smash that thumbs up. But of course, if you're new, bang your subscribe button. Keep you bang up to date with all things Blackburn Rovers related, Europa League related, World Football related. We're going to all here under one Ruski. Of course, make sure to check out the old Champions League qualifying campaign. And of course, the domestic leagues are kicking off as well. Once we get to the old group stages, of course, with the Europa League, we'll kick off the old Prediction League, boys and girls. So make sure you stick around for that bad boy. But until then, give the video some loving. Smash the thumbs up. Check out the description. Also, if you want to join Patreon, there's a link down there, but as well, join the gang, the VIP gang. Until then, I'll see you all very, very soon. Until then, I'm out.